Hey everybody, today is January 3rd. Happy New Year. Today is the first trading session of the day for the stock market, at least Bitcoin, of course, is 24/7. But today is the first weekday trading session of 2022. And we are going to look at the charts, right? Right now, Bitcoin is not really looking as good as we hoped. It's not completely bearish yet, right? We're still holding this support level, right? We haven't broken below any of these wicks or formed a lower low in terms of the wicks, but we're getting very close to it. So the question is, are we going to break below and retrace this wick that we formed over here back in December, or potentially plunge all the way down 40,000? Or is Bitcoin going to be able to make a move to the upside? So before we get in, please read the disclaimer, and you can pause this video as you read it. Okay, so let's get some of the fundamentals right. The stock market is moving toward all-time highs. Right? The stock market is doing very well. Today we started the first day of the new year, up very big. The tech stocks actually led today, especially with Tesla leading the way, up 13%, closing the day up 13%. And really, the whole stock market just started 2022 with a nice bang, and that's very good because Bitcoin generally does follow the stock market, right? Especially the Nasdaq. We've seen a correlation, at least for the last 2 years, as more institutions come in to the cryptocurrency space. We're going to see more behavior in the cryptocurrency price action similar to the stock market, because institutions with their big money and their funds are going to treat Bitcoin like a risk-on asset, like a tech stock, right? So when they saw the stock market pull back in November and December, right, here and over here, we saw Bitcoin pull back as well, and we've been down for over 2 months now. So the question is, are we going to be able to put in a bottom and reverse, or are we going to continue down lower, right? Another good thing is the hash rate. The hash rate just hit a new all-time high in the past 2 days ago, right? 207. Right? Our previous all-time high was back in April 14th, 198, which is also the all-time high, a local all-time high back in April 14th, right? Before we had the huge crash due to here April 14th, right? Due to China banning the cryptocurrency miners, and we saw a huge drop in the hash rate, which also coincided with a huge 55% drawdown in the price, right? Big crash last summer, but we since recovered, and of course the hash rate recovered as well. So this is very good, even though we're pulling back a little bit. The fact that the hash rate is making new all-time highs, it coincides with a possible reversal, because Bitcoin generally will reverse, and or Bitcoin can't make new all-time highs when the hash rate is crashing. It's just never happened before, right? Hash rate can make new all-time highs when Bitcoin is in a bear market, but when Bitcoin is in a strong bull market and continues to make new all-time highs, the hash rate always coincides with it and goes up to a new all-time high. So the fact that we're seeing the hash rate recover to new all-time highs is very good, and it signals that we could be seeing a possible reversal, right? And so hash rate looking good, stock market looking good. So what isn't looking good? The dollar index, right? The dollar index was looking very weak going into the close of the year, right? Over here, we saw a big red candle down, but today we saw a huge reversal, and that put a lot of downward pressure. This is why Bitcoin, I think, is pulling back today, right? We saw a huge reversal candle over here. See, this is 2022, right? Since the year started, we basically saw this huge move up in the opening of the equity markets, right? Stock market saw a huge spike up, and that coincided with a huge dump, right? And I told you how multiple times that the dollar index is inversely proportional, inversely correlated with the price of Bitcoin, right? When the dollar index is inversely correlated with the cryptocurrency markets, right? So when the dollar goes up higher, that puts a lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin, and that's why we've been seeing a lot of weakness in Bitcoin, right? It's not a coincidence that since November 10th, right, we saw this huge green candle of nearly 1%, and then it's just been elevated since then. And November 10 also, here, November 10 was also the peak, right, the all-time high, 69,000 of Bitcoin. And then since the dollar started ripping from November 10th, we've seen the Bitcoin price fall down. So Bitcoin is in a very precarious situation, very dangerous. It's skating on thin ice, right? I said multiple times how, let's see, let's look at some of the technicals right now. Fibonacci, right? Fibonacci support level. Right now we're below it right now, and that's bad, because when we spent so much time around this level, literally all of last year we've basically gone sideways in between this level that we're at right now, right? starting from here, sideways, right? And now we're coming down to the support level again, retesting it, right? We held it here, but when we broke it here, we plunged, right? And we came back up, retested, held it, came back up to the next Fibonacci level, got rejected here, and we're now retesting this again as support. And we don't want to see this happening. We don't want to see the same support levels being tested, because the more a level gets tested, whether it's support or resistance, the more likely it is to break in that direction and continue in that direction. So the more that we're testing the support level, the more likely we are to break below, right? And possibly go down to 40,000. And if we don't hold that, it's going to go down to 30,000. And that's bad, because we already spent time at this level. But in a macro picture, that's bad, because we're starting to break major market structure, right? I said Bitcoin is one of the good things in terms of technicals is that Bitcoin's ascending triangle is still intact, right? Bitcoin's ascending triangle over here, same resistance levels that we've hit 2 times now, but higher lows, right? Higher lows over here, here, and here. And this should, if it plays out, lead to a breakout to the upside. But if we take out 40,000, we're not going to have higher lows anymore, right? We're going to start making potentially lower lows and lower highs, and that's going to be very bad. And so we don't want to break below the level that we're at. This is why I said that in a post, right, December 28th. Well, I made this post in December 21, but this level that I had was I want to see Bitcoin make a strong break above 52,000. And that's when I would be turned bullish and take on more aggressive long positions, right? Right now I don't have a position, but at the same time I was bearish below 47,000, right? 47,000, of course, is that Fibonacci level that I just talked about over here. We're just below 47,000 at 46, and that's when I start to turn bearish and start to think about potentially putting on short positions. Now, we did spike up and touch. We did kiss a little bit above 52,000, but we got rejected, and that's why we saw a huge dump. And since then, it's basically been downhill, right? We saw 52,000, touched it, and then we just been downhill since then. So that's bad. Obviously, the bullish case is out the picture. So are we supposed to turn bearish now? Not necessarily, right? I tell people, like, a lot of times Bitcoin, it looks like it's about to crash, like we saw in last summer, right? It looks like it's about to crash down here, and then it just turns and rips up sideways, right? Sorry, not sideways. It just rips up and reverses. Same thing here. It looks like it's going to go down lower, and it reverses. It's possible that Bitcoin is trying to put a bottom down here, going sideways, right? Potentially putting a W bottom, right? W bottom, right? So let me make this a little clearer. W bottom here, double bottom, right? Double bottom and reverse. It's possible that Bitcoin is trying to put in that, and I think that would be more of a confirmation if we are able to hold at least 45,000, right? If we're able to hold 45,000 or at least 45,500, basically we don't want to close any candles going forward below any of these wicks, right? Any of these wicks. If we started closing a full body candle below these wicks, then we are likely going to plunge down further, probably down to 40,000, and we can't hold 40,000 down to 30,000. And that's really my worst case scenario. Is Bitcoin going to enter a bear market for 2022? I don't think so. I think the worst case is Bitcoin is probably going to just continue going sideways between 30,000, which is bounded by this Fibonacci support level, and 65,000, which is bounded by this Fibonacci resistance level. So like we have been doing in 2021, just kind of ranging sideways. Now, if Bitcoin is able to hold this level, I think that we will hold the ascending triangle that I talked about intact. Right? If Bitcoin is able to hold 47,000, I think we will continue higher and make new all-time highs in 2022. I don't think we're going to enter a bear market, which is basically Bitcoin plunging below the 30,000 and continuing on lower, higher, lower lows. I think worst case scenario, we're going to range sideways. But of course, anything is up for change, and we need to take this market going forward day by day. But for now, we can't say for sure that Bitcoin's in a bear market as long as it's above 30,000, right? But of course, things aren't necessarily looking good right now. But we really want to see Bitcoin not only get above the Fibonacci support level, but also the 200-day moving average, right? The 200-day moving average, which is this blue line, it's been below that for a couple of days now, and that's not good, because last time we were below that, we stayed below for a long time and just kept trending lower. So we want to reclaim not only the Fibonacci support level at 47,000, but also the 200-day moving average. Oops. This is blue line. I know it's kind of hard to see, but we want to get above that line. And that line right now is at near almost 48, just below 48,000, right? And also, Another potential bearish is this cross that we had a couple of sessions ago, right? The 50 crossing the 100-day. Now, as you can see, the 50, which is a silver line, is starting to come down, and once it crosses this blue line, it's going to have what we know is known as a death cross, and that death cross happened actually in June of last summer, right? Over here, and that was bad because Bitcoin plunged even more. So we really want to see the price of Bitcoin go above a lot higher before this crosses, or before the silver line crosses below the blue line, right? Because it's just a lot of bearish indicators, right? The death cross potentially looming, the fact that the price has been under the 200-day, the fact that the price is under the Fibonacci support level. It's just a lot of bad stuff, but there is still hope as long as we're able to hold 45.5 thousand over here, and so as long as we don't have a full strong body red candle close below these wicks, right? I still think that Bitcoin can possibly put in a double bottom, right? Double bottom here, W pattern, reversal, right? Double bottom, reversal, and yeah, so that's what I'm looking for in terms of the bullish case. Bearish case, of course, we break this, break 45, go all the way down to 40,000, and if we can't hold 40,000, then down to 30,000, right? So yeah, I'm still bullish above 52K. I'm still bearish below 47K, and right now we are below 47K. So I have no choice but to be bearish. Although I won't take a short position until we break 45, maybe 45.5, the earliest, and 45,000 for sure. Once we break down below 45,000, I'm just gonna assume that we're gonna at least retrace this entire wick all the way down to 42, and possibly all the way down to 44, which is this next level of support. Whoops, here. So so that's the technical stuff. Let's see. The oscillators, we're looking sort of bullish, but now we're about to have a bearish cross in the MACD, right? Seeing a bit of the momentum reverse, which is not good, right? A lot of selling pressure, basically. RSI was looking good when we had that spike up to 52,000, but we got rejected at 50,000. So of course the RSI is still coming down, but we're still making higher lows, which is good. So, but we do want to see the bulls come in and start to put in more bids to push the price up higher, right? And we want to see this start to reverse to the upside instead of continue to test the same support level, which is going to just be more likely to break to the downside, right? Let's see. Fear and greed index. Fear and greed index. Fear, right? Of course, this is not good. We generally want to see the fear and greed index move towards greed as the price also goes up higher, right? So we saw the fear and greed index move up higher when we saw the two reversals last year, right? Back in July and also in October, also coincided with the rise in the fear and greed index from July and October. This is generally a sign of strength, right? The fact that we're staying at fear, this is usually what happens during a bear market or in a long consolidation period, right? This is the bear market 2018 where we were in low fear and greed index, right? A lot of fear for a long time, with of course relief rallies once in a while, but they got faded very quickly. So we don't want to stay at these levels for too long, right? If we want to remain bullish, right? The bulls want to start to put in market buy orders to push the price up higher, right? The longer we stay below this Fibonacci support level, the 200-day moving average, below this cross of the silver line about to cross below the blue line. If we stay below when it crosses, I mean, there's a lot of potentially bearish indicators. Or there are a lot of bearish indicators, but it's just a lot of signs that the price action will likely go lower if Bitcoin isn't able to put in a bottom right now and reverse soon. So, but then again, even if we do go lower, it's not necessarily a bear market, right? It's probably going to consolidate and move sideways between 30,000. Once we break below 30,000, then we can say it's a bear market. But for now, we basically have to just see if Bitcoin can hold this level, right? I mean, it just doesn't look really that great right now. But if we can, I can see something like this happening if we are able to put in a bottom, right? See, the funny thing is that everybody online right now is very bearish, but Bitcoin looks a lot better than it did here, right? Because back in earlier, over here, in summer of last year, we had a very obvious head and shoulders, right, over here. Let me just draw that again. We had a shoulder, head, and a shoulder. So it looked like it was going to come down, right? And of course, we faded this entire we had the chance to put in a bottom here. People thought we could do something like that, but we actually ended up fading it. And so this looked like it was going to just continue on lower, right? Anybody who knows anything about technical analysis would have seen this head and shoulders pattern, looked at this and said, okay, this is probably going to go down. But Bitcoin, what did it do instead? It tricked everybody, right? And everybody who shorted over here when the Bitcoin price fell below 30,000 for the last time, at least last year, it just ripped up higher and destroyed their short positions. Same thing over here, right? Looks like it's going to come down lower. Nope, goes up. So Bitcoin is definitely still capable of doing very aggressive rallies, right? Like we saw back in July and October. So as long as Bitcoin, so my summary is, as long as Bitcoin is able to hold this level and not go below 45,000 or 45.5 thousand, there is still hope that Bitcoin could put in a bottom, put in a double bottom here and reverse, right? And when it does reverse, it could rip up high like we saw the last 2 times, right? Back here, October and July. But right now, Bitcoin really needs, the bulls really need to put in some work, right? Because we have a lot of resistance levels. We have a lot of bearish indicators that we need to overcome. Of course, just to summarize, I've said this many times, but I'll just say it again because it's important, right? We need to get above the Fibonacci line at 47,000. We need to get above this 200-day moving average at 48,000 and above these moving averages, right? Because death cross happens and we're still below, well, we're going to likely going to see a repeat of what we saw last summer, which is more downside, right? So let's put in a bottom for the bulls. Let's put in a bottom, reverse the price, and push up higher. Otherwise, if Bitcoin does close below 45,000, I have no choice but to go and enter some fairly aggressive short positions because you got to make money on both sides, right? Not just on the long side. Now, if we do put in a bottom here, or it does look like we're putting in a bottom, it won't be confirmed until we break 42,000, which is this resistance level, right? That we got rejected from here. See these 2 daily candle wicks to the upside, these red candle wicks, these red candles, the strong wicks. That means that Bitcoin price was rejected twice here, and we reverse strong drawdown, right? In response to that, right? We had a big red candle day last week, 6% down, like $3,000. Pretty bad day. But if we are able to reverse, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to put in a long position yet. We want to wait for confirmation. Just like I said, just because it looks bearish now doesn't mean you have to enter a short position. We want to wait for major support to break, which is 45,000 to 45.5, right over here. Once Bitcoin closes a daily candle below these wicks, that could be a good potential short position to enter. Same thing, like if we see a reversal, that doesn't mean you have to automatically go long. We want to wait until Bitcoin breaks above 52,000 to enter a long position, right? Or to at least think about entering long positions. But I think the safe thing is if Bitcoin is able to retake 60,000, to me, we are basically going to reverse to no all-time highs. But until then, even if we are able to reverse, we can't say for sure Bitcoin is going to go up straight. It's possible it can range here, try to find support for a while and push up higher. So just some things to keep in mind, right? For now, I still hold true to my my thesis that no positions for now, bullish above 50,000, bearish below 47,000, although I won't take any short positions until Bitcoin breaks 45,000 to 45.5 thousand, and I won't take any long positions until Bitcoin breaks above 52,000, and ideally anywhere between 52,000. If there's strength between 52,000 and strength between 52 and 60,000, that's when I'm going to think about taking more aggressive long positions. But for now, I'm just sitting on the side waiting. Of course, I still have my spot positions, but in terms of like leverage positions, trading positions, I'm completely out of the market. Just gonna sit and wait and see if we can turn this, the bulls can turn this into support. Because if they can, if we put in a double bottom, I could see 2022 being a really good year, especially if this ascending triangle pattern is, well, sorry guys, especially if this ascending triangle pattern plays out, right? And we break out, we can still see Bitcoin at 100,000 or more in 2022. So there's still hope, right? Although things look really bad, there's still hope. But of course, we have to see how things develop going forward, and we'll definitely do that for this channel and to help you guys along as the price action develops going forward. Again, Happy New Year. Hopefully 2022 is a strong bullish year for everybody. But yeah, we'll definitely update you as the price action develops going forward. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. I appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.